Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen carefully today, because what I'm about to say is not just words. It is a revelation from God. There are things in your life that you have not yet seen, dreams that have been locked in your heart, doors that have been closed, and moments you never thought would come. But God is about to show you what you were never ready to see. You have struggled, you have cried, you have prayed, and sometimes you thought nothing was happening. But I tell you, God's timing is perfect. Just because you don't see it yet does not mean He has forgotten you. In fact, He has been preparing you for a moment far greater than you imagined. He is about to show you miracles in places you thought impossible. He is about to show you people who will bring your breakthrough. He is about to show you your true purpose and the destiny that has been waiting patiently for you. The problem is, many of us are not ready to receive it because we are looking for it in the wrong places. God is not interested in your impatience. He is interested in your preparation. He wants to mold you, strengthen you, and position you before He reveals the unimaginable blessings He has stored for you. Your faith will be tested. Your patience will be stretched. But when the moment comes, you will see the hand of God in ways you never expected. And when you see it, you will worship Him, not only for what you see, but for the journey that got you there. Get ready. Get ready to see doors open that you thought were closed forever. Get ready to meet people who will change your life. Get ready to step into a destiny so extraordinary that your past struggles will pale in comparison. God is about to reveal what you were never ready to see. And when He does, your life will never be the same again. I want to speak a word that will shake the very foundation of your impatience, your frustration, and your doubt. I want to speak a word that will remind you that no matter what you see, no matter what you feel, no matter what the world tells you, you are exactly where God wants you to be. That word is God's timing is perfect. Now, I know some of you and me have been waiting for something for a long time. Maybe it's a breakthrough. Maybe it's a promotion. Maybe it's healing. Maybe it's restoration in a relationship. Maybe it's a dream that you've been carrying in your heart for years. The world has told you it's impossible. And because it hasn't happened yet, doubt has crept in. Impatience has crept in. Fear has crept in. You've begun to ask God, why is this taking so long? Why haven't you done it yet? God is never late. He is never early. He is never careless. He is never confused, and He is never unaware of your struggle. What you see as delay is not delay at all. It is divine preparation. It is God setting the stage, positioning the pieces, and arranging everything in your favor. The timing of God is never accidental, and it is never something you can rush. Think about this for a moment. Abraham waited 25 years for the promise of a child. 25 years! And I know some of you are thinking, but I can't wait that long. But that is exactly the point. God is teaching you patience. God is teaching you trust. God is showing you that your timing is not your own, but His. And His timing is perfect because He sees the beginning and the end at the same time. He sees the road ahead that you cannot see. He knows what's necessary for you to handle when the blessing comes. He is preparing you in ways you cannot even understand. There are seasons in life that seem empty, seasons that seem long, seasons where it feels like nothing is happening. But these are not wasted seasons. They are seasons where God is shaping your character, refining your heart, and preparing you for a destiny far greater than you can imagine. You see, God's timing is perfect not just because He brings blessings at the right moment, because He brings you to the right version of yourself so you can receive the blessing in fullness. Look at Joseph in the Bible. He was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused, thrown into prison. Can you imagine the years of waiting? Can you imagine the pain? Yet all of that was part of God's perfect timing. Every trial, every delay, every disappointment was preparing Joseph for a position of unimaginable authority in Egypt. If Joseph had received the blessing too early, if he had been elevated before the preparation, he could not have handled the responsibility, the wisdom, or the vision that God intended for him. That is why timing matters. God's timing is perfect because he prepares the heart, the mind, and the spirit for what is to come. Some of you are afraid of waiting. Some of you are frustrated because it feels like the world is moving forward and you are standing still. But I want you to hear me clearly today. Standing still in God's timing is better than running ahead on your own. When you try to rush, you miss the lesson. When you try to force the process, you compromise the blessing. When you try to leap before God says go, you risk everything that he has promised. God's timing is also perfect because it protects you. There are things that could have been disastrous if they had happened too early, if they had been in your hands too soon. Sometimes God delays because he is keeping you from harm. Sometimes he waits because the right people are not yet in place. Sometimes he waits because the world is not yet ready for your influence. And sometimes he waits because you are not yet ready for the fullness of what he wants to give you. There is a story of a farmer who planted seeds at the wrong time. The seeds sprouted too soon. The frost came and they died. But the farmer, guided by the wisdom of experience, planted the seeds at the right season. When the sun and rain arrived in the perfect combination, the harvest was abundant. Friends, your life is like that field. God knows the perfect season for your blessing. He knows when to plant, when to water, and when to bring the harvest. Just as the farmer would never plant at the wrong time, neither would God. His timing is perfect. I also want to remind you that God's timing is perfect because it teaches you trust. There is no shortcut to understanding his ways. You cannot manipulate divine timing. You cannot demand it. You cannot force it. All you can do is learn to trust. Trust that what is for you will not pass you by. Trust that what is meant for you will not be stolen from you. Trust that even when it looks like nothing is happening, God is at work behind the scenes, orchestrating, arranging, and aligning everything according to his perfect plan. It always arrives at the right moment. When Joseph was finally elevated, when Esther stepped before the king, when David became king, it all happened at exactly the right time. Not a moment too early, not a moment too late. The blessing came with maximum impact because the timing was perfect. That is what God wants for you. Not just blessings, but blessings at the right moment, in the right way, for the right purpose that will change everything about your life. So what do you do while you wait? You prepare. You grow. You trust. You do not compare your season with anyone else's season. You do not listen to voices that tell you that God is late. You do not doubt the promise because you cannot see the timing. You remain faithful in the little things. You remain diligent in your responsibilities. You remain patient in your process. And you remain hopeful because God's timing is perfect and it will come exactly when it is supposed to. Whatever you are waiting for, it is coming. The job, the promotion, the healing, the breakthrough, the reconciliation, the dream, it is coming. Not a moment too soon, not a moment too late. And when it comes, it will be perfect. Every tear, every prayer, every struggle will make sense. Every delay will reveal its purpose. Every season of waiting will demonstrate the wisdom of God's perfect timing. So stop rushing. Stop worrying. Stop trying to force what God has already promised. Stand firm in faith. Trust in his plan. Prepare your heart. Prepare your mind. Prepare your spirit. Because the moment God shows up, your life will never be the same again. Because this is a word that can change the way you understand your life, your struggles, and your journey with God. So often we look at the lives of others and we see their blessings, their breakthroughs, their victories, and we wonder, why not me? Why am I still waiting? And why hasn't God revealed it to me yet? Preparation comes before revelation. That's a spiritual principle. That's a law of the kingdom of God. God never reveals what you are not ready for. The things that you see others receiving, the opportunities, the favor, the promotion, the breakthrough, the miracle, they did not happen because of luck. They did not happen by accident. They happened because God prepared them first. You see, God does not simply hand out destiny. He does not give revelation to someone who is not ready to handle it. He does not entrust power to someone who is not prepared to use it wisely. He does not release blessings to someone whose heart is not aligned with his will. That is why preparation comes first. Before revelation can happen, God must prepare your mind, your character, your faith, and your spirit. Think about Joseph in the Bible. Well, Joseph was betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and thrown into prison. Can you imagine the pain? Can you imagine the disappointment? But God was preparing him. God was teaching him patience. God was teaching him trust. God was teaching him leadership and wisdom. Joseph could not have handled the position of authority in Egypt if he had not gone through the preparation. The prison was not a punishment, it was a preparation. And because he was prepared, when God revealed his plan, Joseph was ready to step into it fully, and the world witnessed a man who was prepared to receive revelation. Some of you are frustrated because you feel like you are stuck in a season. You feel like nothing is moving. You feel like God has forgotten you. But the truth is, God is preparing you. Every trial you face, every difficulty, every setback, every disappointment is a preparation for what is coming. God is teaching you lessons that you cannot learn any other way. He is strengthening you, refining you, and molding you into the person who can handle the revelation when it arrives. Revelation is not just about knowledge, it is about readiness. It is about maturity. It is about character. You cannot receive what God has for you if you are not ready. You cannot handle a promotion in life if your heart is full of pride. You cannot receive favor if you are not patient. You cannot walk into your purpose if your mind is not disciplined. That is why preparation comes first. The farmer does not expect to harvest the fruit the moment he plants. First, he prepares the soil. He waters it. He protects it from pests. He nurtures it. Only then does the seed grow, and only then does it bear fruit. Your life is like that soil. God is preparing you, watering you, protecting you, nurturing you. The revelation, the harvest, will come in the perfect time, but not until you are ready. There's another reason why preparation comes before revelation. It ensures that you will not waste the blessing. When God reveals something, it is often bigger than you can imagine. It is bigger than your circumstances, bigger than your past, bigger than your fears. And if you are not prepared, you might squander it. You might misuse it. You might take it for granted. That is why God uses seasons of preparation. He wants you to be ready to steward the revelation, to walk in it wisely, to honor it, and to maximize it for His glory. Many people make the mistake of wanting the revelation without the preparation. They want the blessing without the process. They want the promotion without the patience. They want the dream without the discipline. And when they get it, they fall. They stumble. They fail. But God's timing and preparation are perfect. He will not give you what you are not ready for, and He will not let you receive it prematurely. Preparation also builds faith. When God prepares you, He is testing your trust. He is strengthening your belief that what He has promised will come. You see, the journey of preparation is not wasted time. It is not a punishment. It is a necessary part of the process. Every trial, every challenge, every season of waiting is an opportunity to deepen your faith, to grow your patience, and to align yourself with God's will. Preparation is not passive. It is active. While you wait for revelation, you must prepare. You must study. You must work. You must grow. You must improve your skills, strengthen your character, and develop the discipline that will allow you to handle what is coming. God does not reveal to the lazy or the indifferent. He reveals to those who are diligent, who are willing to do the work, who are willing to be molded, who are willing to grow into the destiny He has for them. Sometimes the greatest blessing in life is not the revelation. It is the person you become while waiting for it. Sometimes miracle is not just what God gives you. It is who He makes you to be in the process. And when you finally receive the revelation, you will not only enjoy the blessing, but you will also understand it, handle it, and honor it because God has prepared you. So do not despise the season of preparation. Do not complain about the waiting. Do not become impatient with the process. Embrace it. Learn from it. Grow in it. Every challenge, every trial, every difficulty is a tool in the hands of God to prepare you for what is coming. When the revelation comes, and it will come, you will recognize it immediately. You will see the hand of God. You will understand that every struggle, Every hardship, every season of waiting was necessary. You will be ready. You will be strong. You will be wise. You will step into the destiny that God has prepared for you. Preparation comes before revelation. Every trial is a training ground. Every struggle is a classroom. Every season of waiting is a workshop of the Spirit. And if you embrace it, if you trust it, if you grow in it, you will not only receive the revelation, you will be ready to thrive in it. So be patient, be diligent, be faithful, be ready. Because the moment God reveals His plan, His blessing, His vision to you, you will be prepared. You will be equipped. You will be able to walk into it with confidence, strength, and wisdom. Beloved, today, Amos, I want to speak a word that will speak directly into the heart of every person who is waiting, praying, hoping, and believing for something that has not yet come. I want to speak a word that will remind you that faith and patience are required if you are going to see the promises of God fulfilled in your life. We live in a world that wants everything instantly, instant success, instant recognition, instant results. But let me tell you something today. God does not work on human clocks. God works on divine timing. And divine timing often requires both faith and patience. Faith to believe in the unseen. Patience to endure the wait. Faith is not just a feeling. Faith is not just hope. Faith is a confident expectation that what God has promised will come to pass. Faith is saying, even though I don't see it, I believe it. Even though it has not happened yet, I trust the one who promised it. Faith is standing firm in the storm. Faith is holding on when the world says give up. Faith is refusing to compromise when the timing feels too long. Faith is what keeps you moving forward when everything inside of you wants to quit. Faith alone is not enough. Faith must be accompanied by patience. Patience is the strength to endure. Patience is the ability to wait without frustration. Patience is saying, Lord, I will wait even though I don't know when, because I trust you know best. Patience is the companion to faith. Faith believes, patience waits. Faith prays, patience perseveres. Faith sees the promise, patience endures the process. Consider the heroes of the Bible. Abraham had faith that God would give him a son, but he had to wait 25 years. 25 years! During that time, he faced doubt, ridicule, and delay. But his faith, coupled with patience, allowed him to stand firm. And when the time finally came, the promise arrived, and Abraham received more than he ever expected. This is the lesson for you today. Faith without patience is incomplete, and patience without faith is powerless. Think about Joseph. Joseph had faith that God had a plan for his life. He believed even when he was betrayed by his brothers, thrown into slavery, falsely accused, and cast into prison. But he also needed patience. Joseph had to endure years of hardship before God's plan was revealed. His faith kept him believing in God's promises, and his patience allowed him to persevere through the delay. When the moment came, Joseph was ready. The revelation of God's plan transformed not only his life, but the lives of countless others. Faith and patience are required because the process produces the person you need to become. Often, what you are waiting for is not just a blessing or a breakthrough, it is a transformation. God is not just giving you what you want. He is shaping you into the person who can handle it, appreciate it, and use it for His glory. Every season of waiting, every trial, every challenge, preparing you for the blessing that is coming. And if you do not learn patience, you may miss the very thing God has been preparing for you all along. Some of you are struggling because the wait feels too long. You have prayed, you have cried, you have worked hard, and yet it seems as if nothing is happening. Let me tell you, God is at work even when you cannot see it. Your breakthrough is on its way. Your miracle is on its way. Your restoration is on its way. It'll come in God's timing and not a moment sooner. And to receive it fully, you need faith to believe and patience to wait. Delayed blessings are not denied blessing. Just because something has not happened yet does not mean it will not happen. Just because the miracle has not arrived yet does not mean it will not come. Just because the answer has not been revealed yet does not mean it will not appear. Faith and patience are required to keep you steady while God is working behind the scenes. Patience is often tested in the quiet seasons of life. It is easy to have faith when everything is going well. It is easy to believe when the answers are immediate. But the true test of faith is believing in the unseen. The true test of patience is enduring the wait without giving up. And when you can combine both, you unlock a spiritual power that propels you into the promises of God. You see, impatience is a dangerous trap. Impatience makes you rush. Impatience makes you doubt. Impatience makes you compromise. But faith and patience together keep you aligned with God's will. They keep you in the place where you are meant to be. They prepare you for the revelation that will change everything. Consider the story of David. David had faith that he would be king. He had faith that God had a plan for his life. But he had to wait patiently while Saul remained king. He had to endure years of hiding, running, and waiting. And because David had faith and patience, when the moment came, he was ready to step into the throne. Blessing arrived, but only because he had cultivated both faith and patience along the journey. Faith and patience are required because they produce endurance and strength. They teach you how to handle pressure. They teach you how to handle disappointment. They teach you how to handle waiting without bitterness. They develop perseverance. And when you finally receive the answer to your prayers, you will not only receive it, you will handle it with wisdom, grace, and humility. Friends, if you are in a season of waiting today, I want you to hear this. Do not give up. Keep believing, keep trusting, keep standing, keep praying, keep moving forward in the small things. Faith and patience are required because they are the keys to unlocking the promises of God. They are the gates through which blessings flow. They are the foundation on which your breakthrough will stand. Do not let the delay destroy your faith. Do not let frustration steal your joy. Do not let doubt rob you of hope. Instead, let the wait teach you, strengthen you, and prepare you. When God finally acts, it will be perfect. It will be complete. It will be exactly what you need, and it will arrive at the right time, in the right way, for the right purpose. Faith and patience are required. They are not optional. They are not secondary. They are essential. Without faith, you will not believe the promise. Without patience, you will not endure the process. But when you cultivate both, you position yourself for miracles, breakthroughs, fulfillment of God's promises in your life. So stand firm in faith. Wait with patience. Trust in God's timing. Keep believing even when it seems impossible. Keep praying even when the answers seem delayed. Keep trusting even when the road is long. Because when faith and patience meet, God's power is unleashed, and the promises He has spoken over your life will be revealed in full measure. Beloved, today I want to speak a word that will open your eyes to the mysterious and marvelous ways of God. There are blessings, breakthroughs, miracles, and revelations coming to you, things that you have never imagined, things you could never plan, things you are not prepared for, but God wants you to expect the unexpected. You see, many of us limit God because we try to fit Him into our understanding, timing, and our expectations. We think, God, this is how I want it. This is how it should happen. This is what I see. But God says, my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts are higher than your thoughts. The problem is, often forget that God's revelation does not always come in the package we are prepared to receive. Sometimes He shows up in ways that surprise us. And when He does, the key is to recognize it, embrace it, and step into it without hesitation. Think about Joseph. He expected to rise in his father's household, but instead, he was sold into slavery. That was the unexpected. He expected freedom and safety, but instead, he faced false accusation and imprisonment. Yet, because Joseph remained faithful, God used the unexpected for his elevation. When God finally revealed His plan, came in a way that Joseph could never have anticipated, but it was far greater than anything he had imagined. This is the principle for you today. Often works in ways you cannot predict, but if you expect the unexpected, you will recognize His hand when it arrives. Expecting the unexpected requires faith. It requires believing that God can work outside the limits of human logic. It requires trusting that even when things seem chaotic, even when the road seems uncertain, even when your plans are disrupted, God is still in control. When you expect the unexpected, you position yourself to receive God's best, not just what you thought was best. Think about Esther. She never imagined that she would become queen, never imagined that she would be in a position to save her people. And yet, when the unexpected opportunity came, she was ready. Why? Because she had walked in faith, prepared herself, and positioned herself with courage and wisdom. God revealed his plan in an unexpected way. And her obedience to the unexpected changed the course of history. Expect the unexpected, because God often works through people you never thought would help you. In situations you never expected, and at times you never anticipated, there may be doors you thought were closed that suddenly open. There may be relationships you thought were gone that suddenly return. There may be blessings you thought were delayed that suddenly arrive. God's revelation is not always predictable. It is divine, and his timing is perfect, even when it feels surprising or unusual. Some of you are frustrated because life has not gone the way you planned. You have a roadmap, a strategy, a plan for your life, and yet things keep happening that disrupt it. But that is exactly why you need to expect the unexpected. God's plan is greater than your plan. His vision is broader than your vision. And sometimes the detours, delays, and surprises are part of his preparation to bring you to a destiny far beyond what you imagined. Expecting the unexpected also helps you avoid disappointment. When you understand that God can work in ways you cannot predict, you are less likely to be discouraged when things do not go according to your timetable. You are less likely to be frustrated when doors close or plans fail. You are less likely to give up when life takes an unexpected turn. Instead, you will remain open, flexible, and ready to embrace the new direction God is leading you. Consider the story of David. David expected to be king immediately after being anointed by Samuel, but instead he faced years of waiting, hiding, and running from Saul. That was unexpected. Yet, because David remained faithful, God's plan unfolded perfectly. When the time came, David's unexpected journey had prepared him for kingship in ways he could never have planned. The unexpected was not a setback, it was a setup for destiny. Expect the unexpected, because God's miracles often defy human understanding. The answer to your prayers may not look like what you imagined. The solution may not arrive the way you expected. The breakthrough may appear in a form you never thought possible. God delights in surprising his children because his ways are higher than ours, and when you learn to expect the unexpected, you will recognize his hand in every twist and turn of life. Faith grows in the soil of the unexpected. Patience is strengthened when life surprises you. Courage is cultivated when you step into the unknown. And wisdom is refined when you trust God in situations that defy logic. Expecting the unexpected is not just a mindset, it is a spiritual posture. It is a way of living with eyes wide open, heart attuned to God, and readiness to move when he moves, even if it is differently than you imagine. Some of you are afraid of the unknown. You are afraid to let go of control. You want life to follow your plan, your schedule, your vision. But God is asking you to release that control and trust him. Expect the unexpected. Be ready for surprises. Be open to new directions. Be willing to embrace opportunities that do not fit your understanding. God's plan is always perfect, even when it surprises you. God often gives his greatest revelations when we least expect them, in ways we could never orchestrate and through channels we could never imagine. Your miracle, your breakthrough, your restoration, your promotion, your healing, it may come in a form that shocks you, challenges you, or even confuses you at first. But when you expect the unexpected, you are ready to receive it, appreciate it, and walk boldly into it. So what do you need to do while waiting for the unexpected? First, strengthen your faith. Believe in God's power, his timing, and his wisdom. Second, remain patient. Trust the process and embrace the journey, even when it feels uncertain. Third, stay prepared. The unexpected often requires you to act quickly, decisively, and wisely. And fourth, remain open. Be willing to step out of your comfort zone. Follow God's leading and embrace the new path he is showing you. Expect the unexpected. Open your heart to God's surprises. Anticipate his interventions. Be ready for breakthroughs that defy explanation. Step into opportunities that you never planned. Receive blessings that you never imagined. Because God's plan for your life is bigger, better, and far more extraordinary than anything you could predict. Unexpected is not to be feared, it is to be anticipated. The surprises of God are not mistakes, they are miracles. The detours of life are not delays, they are divine redirections. And when you expect the unexpected, you will not only survive the journey, you will thrive in the revelation, the breakthrough, and the destiny God has prepared for you. Beloved, today I want to speak a word that will change the way you view the people around you. I want you to understand something vital. Breakthroughs can come through people. Yes, God often uses ordinary people to carry extraordinary blessings into your life. Sometimes the answer to your prayers, the opportunity you've been waiting for, or the miracle you've been hoping for arrives not in the way you expect. Through a person God places in your life, we often think that breakthroughs come from hard work alone, or from our own talent, or from luck. Let me tell you today, God often works through others to open doors that you cannot open on your own. He uses mentors, friends, strangers, even people who may not fully understand their role in your life, to deliver what you need at exactly the right moment. Your breakthrough is rarely a solo journey. It is connected to the relationships God brings into your life. Think about Moses. He was called to lead Israel out of Egypt, but his breakthrough did not come in isolation. God used Aaron to speak on his behalf because Moses doubted himself. God used Pharaoh's hardened heart to create a stage for miracles. God used the people around him to deliver the freedom of an entire nation. Sometimes breakthroughs require collaboration, guidance, and the influence of others. God often places people in your path long before you realize they are key to your destiny. Consider Joseph. He was in prison, unjustly accused, forgotten by those around him. Yet, God used a fellow prisoner, the cupbearer, to remind Pharaoh of Joseph's wisdom. God used Pharaoh's decision to recognize Joseph's talent to elevate him to a position of power that changed the course of a nation. Joseph's breakthrough came through people, not by chance, but by God's design. And when God uses people, the timing is always perfect, impact is always significant, and the outcome is always aligned with His plan. Some of you are waiting for your breakthrough. You are frustrated because it hasn't arrived yet. You prayed, worked, sacrificed, and endured, and still the door hasn't opened. Here's what you must understand. God may be preparing someone else to release that breakthrough to you. Your answer may be in the hands of another person, and God is orchestrating their timing and their preparation to intersect with yours. The blessing cannot arrive until both parties are ready. That is why patience, discernment, and relationship building are so important. Breakthroughs can come through people in many forms. Sometimes it is a mentor who shares wisdom that shifts your perspective. Sometimes it is a friend who encourages you when you are ready to give up. Enough. Sometimes it is a stranger who gives you an opportunity you never expected. Sometimes it is someone you would never have associated with, yet God uses them to bring your breakthrough. The key is to recognize and receive what God is sending through others without pride, fear, or hesitation. Look at Esther. Her breakthrough came because she was placed in the palace at the right time, surrounded by the right people. God orchestrated the presence of others, advisors, servants, the king himself, to deliver a miracle that she could not have accomplished alone. Her courage, wisdom, and obedience were essential, but the people around her were instruments in God's plan. This principle applies to you. God often uses people as instruments of your destiny. Sometimes the breakthrough may come through people who challenge you. Sometimes it comes through people who correct you, confront you, or push you outside of your comfort zone. These moments may feel uncomfortable. God is using them to align you with His plan. The key is to see beyond the moment and recognize the hand of God working through them. Your attitude toward others, your openness, your humility, your willingness to collaborate can determine whether the breakthrough flows freely into your life. There is another critical aspect to understand. You also become the vessel through which someone else's breakthrough comes. God uses you, your influence, your wisdom, and your resources to help others step into their destiny. Just as you receive through people, others will receive through you. That is the beauty of God's divine network. It is reciprocal, interconnected, and purposeful. Your breakthrough is connected to someone else's, and their breakthrough may be connected to yours. God uses relationships to accomplish His will on earth. Every person who enters your life is meant to carry your breakthrough. You need discernment. Some people may bring distraction or delay. God will bring the right people at the right time. He will bring people who align with His purpose, who challenge you, who encourage you, and who amplify your vision. And when you recognize them, you must be ready to receive the breakthrough that comes through them. Think about Paul and Barnabas. They were companions on a mission, and together they walked through trials, preached the gospel, and planted churches. Barnabas encouraged Paul when others doubted him. Together, they were instruments of God's work, achieving breakthroughs that neither could have accomplished alone. God often uses partnerships to fulfill His plans. Your breakthrough may require collaboration, mentorship, or divine connection with someone God has prepared for you. Breakthroughs coming through people require faith, humility, and gratitude. Faith to believe that God can work through someone else, humility to accept help and guidance, and gratitude to honor the role that others play in your journey. Pride will close doors, self-reliance will limit your destiny, but an open heart will allow God to deliver His promises in ways that surpass your imagination. So what should you do while waiting for breakthroughs to come through people? First, cultivate relationships with integrity and purpose. Second, be willing to receive guidance and counsel. Third, remain faithful and patient, trusting that God is orchestrating events behind the scenes. Fourth, develop discernment so you can recognize the people God is sending. And fifth, remain humble, knowing that your breakthrough is not solely your doing. It is part of God's divine plan working through people. Breakthroughs can come through people. Open your eyes, open your heart. Be ready to recognize the divine instruments God is sending into your life. Receive the wisdom, encouragement, and opportunities that come through others. And remember, just as God uses people to bring your breakthrough, He can also use you to bring someone else's. Step into that divine network and watch how God moves in ways you could never orchestrate alone. The people around you are not just passing through, they are part of God's plan. Some are teachers, some are encouragers, some are instruments, some are keys to doors that only God can open. When you understand this, you will no longer wait in vain. You will no longer struggle in isolation. You will recognize that your breakthrough is connected to the people God has placed around you. And when the time comes, you will step fully into your destiny. Beloved, I want to speak to every person who has been feeling weighed down by the challenges of life. I want to speak to every person who has been praying, striving, hoping, and yet feels like nothing is changing. I want you to hear this today. Your struggles are not in vain. Every tear you have shed, obstacle you have faced, every moment of disappointment, every season of waiting, it is not wasted. God is working behind the scenes, and your struggles are part of a divine process that will lead to breakthrough, growth, and victory. Many of us look at our lives and focus on the difficulties. We see the problems, the failures, the pain, and we wonder if it will ever end. We ask ourselves, why am I still struggling? Why is my breakthrough delayed? Why do I feel stuck? But let me tell you, the very struggles you are facing are shaping you into the person God intended for you to become. They are not meaningless. They are not random. They are purposeful. Your struggles are preparing you for a life of greater strength, greater wisdom, greater impact. Consider Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned. His life seemed filled with suffering and unfairness, and yet Joseph's struggles were not in vain. Every hardship was refining him, shaping his character, and preparing him to save nations. By the time God revealed His plan, Joseph was ready. He had been molded, strengthened, positioned through his struggles, and because he endured, his victory was complete and life-changing. Sometimes we forget that growth often comes in seasons of struggle. Just as muscles grow stronger through resistance, your spirit, your faith, your character grow stronger through challenges. Your struggles are not a sign that God has abandoned you. They are evidence that He is preparing you. Every trial is a training ground. Every difficulty is a lesson. Every setback is a setup for something greater. Your struggles are also not in vain because they teach patience. Patience is one of the most valuable qualities you can develop. Waiting is never easy. Enduring trials is never comfortable. But when you learn patience through struggle, you gain the ability to persevere when life is difficult. Patience allows you to trust God's timing. It allows you to remain steadfast even when answers are delayed. And it allows you to see that God's plan is perfect, even when it feels like the world is against you. Moreover, your struggles are not in vain because they deepen your faith. Faith is strengthened in the fire of adversity. It is easy to believe when everything is going well, but true faith is developed when you continue to trust God even when the circumstances seem impossible. Your struggles are an opportunity to grow closer to God, to depend on Him, and to experience His power in ways you never could in comfort. Think about David. Before he became king, David faced countless struggles. He was hunted by Saul, mocked by enemies, and misunderstood by those closest to him. And yet, David's struggles were not in vain. They developed his courage, honed his leadership, and strengthened his heart for God. By the time David ascended to the throne, he was equipped to lead with wisdom, resilience, and strength. Your struggles are shaping you for your future. Even if you cannot see it right now, your struggles are also not in vain because they build resilience. Life is full of challenges, but the more you endure, the stronger you become. Each struggle teaches you how to face difficulty with courage, how to adapt, how to overcome, and how to rise again after falling. You are being equipped to handle greater responsibilities, bigger blessings, and more significant impact. God uses your struggles to prepare you for what lies ahead so that when the moment comes, you can walk through it with confidence and strength. Sometimes your struggles are not in vain because they are preparing you to help others. Every difficulty you face equips with experience, wisdom, and empathy. You cannot minister to guide or inspire others without understanding struggle. The very challenges you endure allow you to be a light to those who are in darkness, a source of hope to those who feel hopeless, and an example to those who are still fighting. Your struggles are not wasted. They are a tool in God's hands to impact others through your testimony. I know some of you have faced rejection, failure, heartbreak, and disappointment. You have been overlooked, underestimated, and even betrayed. And you may feel like giving up. But hear me today, God has not forgotten you. Your struggles are producing something greater. Your pain is producing purpose. Your trials are producing triumph. Every moment of suffering is working together for your good, even when it doesn't feel like it. Your struggles are not in vain because they are refining your character. God cannot place His greatest blessings in the hands of a heart that is unprepared. He cannot entrust a vision to someone who is not yet disciplined, patient, and resilient. Your struggles are refining you, shaping your heart, preparing you for the fullness of what He has planned. Every tear, every disappointment, every obstacle is a tool in His hands to make you the person you need to be to receive your breakthrough. Do not despise your struggles. Do not curse the process. Do not give up because the road is difficult. Instead, see every challenge as part of God's divine plan. Your struggles are not in vain. They are working for you, not against you. They are shaping you, strengthening you, preparing you for a future that is brighter, greater, and more extraordinary than you can imagine. Your struggles are not wasted. Your pain has purpose. Your trials have meaning. Your endurance will bear fruit. The very things you are facing now are being used to equip you, elevate you, and empower you. God is faithful. He is working behind the scenes, and when the time comes, your struggles will give birth to a breakthrough, a testimony, a victory that will glorify Him and inspire others. So stand firm in the storms. Keep walking through the fire. Trust God's plan. Embrace the lessons in your struggles. And know this, your struggles are not in vain. They are the soil from which your miracles, your blessings, and your destiny will grow. Beloved, today I want to speak a word that can change the way you see life, your purpose, and the hand of God at work around you. Too often, we walk through life with eyes wide open, yet we fail to truly see. We hear with our ears, yet we fail to truly understand. We experience the world, yet we miss the spiritual realities that are shaping our destiny. That is why God is calling you today. Open your eyes to spiritual insight. Spiritual insight is more than knowledge. It is more than information. It is the ability to perceive the hand of God, recognize His guidance, understand his plans even when they are hidden from the natural eye. It is the ability to see beyond circumstances, beyond appearances, beyond what the world tells you is possible. Spiritual insight allows you to recognize opportunities, avoid pitfalls, respond to life in a way that aligns with God's will. Too often, people miss the blessings God has for them because they are looking only with natural eyes. They fail to see the signs, the divine appointments, and the lessons hidden in every circumstance. They complain about their struggles, unaware that God is using every trial to teach them, refine them, and prepare them for their destiny. Spiritual insight opens your eyes to the reality that nothing in your life is wasted, nothing is accidental, and nothing is outside the control of God. Consider Joseph. He endured betrayal, slavery, false accusations, and imprisonment. To the natural eye, his life seemed full of failure and injustice. Yet Joseph had spiritual insight. He understood that God was at work even when circumstances looked bleak. He interpreted dreams, saw God's hand in the events around him, and positioned himself for the breakthrough that would ultimately save nations. Joseph's ability to see beyond the surface allowed him to step into his destiny with confidence, wisdom, and faith. Spiritual insight allows you to recognize opportunities that others overlook. It allows you to see the connections between events, people God places in your path, and the timing of your life. It allows you to understand that every delay, every challenge, every setback is purposeful and part of divine plan. Without spiritual insight, you may walk past the very thing God has prepared for you because your eyes are fixed on the temporary instead of the eternal. Think about Esther. She was in a palace surrounded by power, yet she had to open her eyes to see God's purpose in her position. She had to recognize that she was placed there for such a time as that. Spiritual insight gave her the courage, wisdom, and discernment to act in a way that saved her people. If she had only relied on natural understanding, she may have missed the opportunity entirely. The same principle applies to you today. God wants you to see the hidden opportunities, the divine strategies, the spiritual realities that will lead you to your breakthrough. Spiritual insight is not automatic. It is cultivated through prayer, reflection, and attentiveness to the voice of God. It requires humility, a willingness to learn, and a sensitivity to the Spirit. It requires looking beyond the obvious, seeking God's perspective, and asking, Lord, what are you doing here? What are you trying to teach me? What do I need to see that I cannot see with my natural eyes? When you ask these questions, God opens your eyes, and suddenly what was hidden becomes clear. Your spiritual insight allows you to navigate life with wisdom and discernment. It helps you distinguish between opportunities that are aligned with God's will and those that are distractions. It helps you recognize relationships that are life-giving versus those that are destructive. It helps you respond to challenges with faith rather than fear, with hope rather than despair, and with clarity rather than confusion. Without spiritual insight, you may stumble in the dark, miss your divine appointments, and waste precious time and energy on what is not meant for you. Consider the early disciples. They walked with Jesus, heard his teachings, and witnessed miracles. Yet, they often lacked spiritual insight. They did not immediately understand the significance of what they were seeing. They were focused on the natural, the immediate, and the visible. But as Jesus opened their eyes, taught them, and revealed spiritual truths, they began to see life from a higher perspective. Their ability to perceive spiritual realities transformed them from ordinary men into powerful leaders who changed the world. Spiritual insight also equips you to face trials with perspective. Life will challenge you. You will encounter opposition, rejection, and setbacks. Spiritual insight allows you to see beyond the pain, recognize the lesson, and trust that God is at work. It allows you to respond with faith rather than fear, with patience rather than frustration, and with understanding rather than anger. Your struggles become part of your preparation, and your vision becomes clearer even in the midst of difficulty. Spiritual insight is a key to destiny. It allows you to recognize your purpose, understand your calling, and act in alignment with God's plan. Without it, you may wander, stumble, make decisions that delay your breakthrough. With it, you navigate life with confidence, clarity, and divine wisdom. It allows you to see what others cannot see, understand what others cannot understand, Act in ways that bring about transformation, not only in your life, but in the lives of those around you. Some of you are blind to the opportunities God has placed before you because you are only looking with your natural eyes. You are only listening to human advice. You are only reacting to circumstances instead of seeking God's perspective. I want to encourage you today, ask God to open your eyes. Seek spiritual insight. Look beyond the surface. Understand the deeper meaning in every situation. Recognize the hand of God in every event, every person, and every season. Spiritual insight will guide you, protect you, and position you for success. It will allow you to step into your destiny fully prepared. It will give you the clarity to recognize divine time and the wisdom to make the right decisions and the courage to act boldly when the moment arrives. God's plan for your life is perfect, and spiritual insight is the lens through which you will see it unfold. Open your eyes to spiritual insight. Do not settle for surface-level understanding. Do not walk through life blind to the divine opportunities around you. Ask God to reveal the hidden, to illuminate the path, and to give you eyes to see what others cannot see. When you do, you will recognize divine appointments, seize opportunities, walk boldly into the destiny God has prepared for you. Your eyes must be open to see. Your heart must be tuned to understand. And your spirit must be sensitive to perceive. When you cultivate spiritual insight, nothing will surprise you, nothing will confuse you, nothing will delay your breakthrough. God's hand is at work, and when your eyes are open, you will see it clearly. Beloved, today, I want to speak to every person who is walking through a season of trials, challenges, or uncertainty. I want to speak to those who have prayed, hoped, and believed, yet are still waiting for their breakthrough. I want to remind you today, worship through the journey. Yes, worship is not only for the mountaintop moments. Worship is not only for when the blessings have arrived. True worship is a lifestyle that carries you through every season, especially the valleys, the deserts, and the storms. Many people only worship when things are going well. They lift their hands when the answers are immediate, when doors open easily, when life is smooth. But what about when the bills are due and the money is not in your account? What about when the health reports are troubling? About when relationships are strained, dreams seem delayed, and the future is uncertain? That is exactly when worship becomes most powerful. Worship in the storm has a supernatural effect. It shifts your focus from the problem to the provider, from the challenge to the creator, and from fear to faith. Think about Paul and Silas. They were in prison, beaten and chained, yet in the midnight hour, they sang hymns to God. And in that moment of worship, the earth shook, the doors opened, and their chains were broken. That is the power of worship through the journey. Worship releases the supernatural. Worship shifts atmospheres. Worship aligns your spirit with God even when circumstances seem impossible. Worship through the journey is an act of faith. It says, Lord, I may not understand my situation. I may not see the breakthrough yet. I may not know the next step, but I trust you. I honor you, glorify you. It is a declaration that God is greater than your challenges, stronger than your storms, and more powerful than your struggles. Worship is not dependent on what you see. It is rooted in who God is. Consider Job. He lost his children, his wealth, and his health, yet he did not curse God. In the midst of his suffering, he worshiped. And though the process was long, the reward was beyond what he imagined. Worship through the journey keeps you anchored. It strengthens your faith. It sustains your spirit. It positions you for restoration and increase beyond your imagination. Worship through the journey also transforms you. When you worship, your focus shifts from your problems to God's promises. Your heart is lifted above fear, worry, and despair. Your mind is renewed. Your spirit is strengthened. In worship, you find peace that surpasses understanding. In worship, you gain clarity about the next step. In worship, your perspective changes and you begin to see the hand of God in every circumstance, even the painful ones. Think about David. Before he became king, he faced countless challenges. He was hunted, mocked, and underestimated. Yet David worshiped through the journey. He wrote songs, he praised God. He lifted his heart in adoration, and he remained steadfast in his faith. His worship became his weapon, his shield, and his anchor. Worship sustained him through waiting, refined him through trials, and positioned him for victory when the time came. Sometimes worship through the journey is not about singing words. It is about living a life of obedience, gratitude, and trust. It is about walking in integrity when no one is watching. It is about praising God when you feel abandoned. It is about honoring Him with your actions, decisions, and attitudes, even when the outcome is uncertain. Worship is not just a song, it is a lifestyle. And when you worship through the journey, God is able to work miracles, shift circumstances, and bring revelation in ways you never imagined. Worship through the journey also brings perspective. It reminds you that your journey is not just about you, it is about God's glory. Your breakthrough, your restoration, your promotion, it is not only for your benefit, but for the manifestation of God's power in the world. Worship reminds you that the Creator of the universe is working on your behalf. It teaches you patience, endurance, and trust, and it allows you to see that even in the waiting, God is faithful. There is power in worship during trials because it breaks strongholds. The enemy wants you focused on fear, doubt, and despair. But when you worship, you shift the atmosphere. You declare victory before it manifests. You invite the supernatural to intervene. Worship releases God's presence, God's power, and God's favor into situations that seem impossible. It is both an act of surrender and a declaration of faith. It tells the enemy, you do not have authority here. God is in control. I will praise Him through the storm. Worship through the journey also inspires others. When people see you lifting your hands, praising in adversity, walking in faith despite challenges, it encourages them to trust God as well. Your worship becomes a testimony. Your faith becomes a motto. Your journey becomes a light that guides others through their storms. God uses those who worship in adversity to bring hope and strength to those around them. The journey is just as important as the destination. God is forming, refining, and equipping you in every season. Worship through the journey keeps your heart aligned with Him. It teaches you reliance over self-reliance. It strengthens your spirit. It deepens your faith. And when the breakthrough finally arrives, your worship has already prepared you to receive it with humility, gratitude, and joy. So, what does it look like to worship through the journey? First, give thanks in all circumstances. Even when life is difficult, gratitude shifts your focus from lack to abundance. Second, praise God in prayer and song, even when the answers are delayed. Third, walk in obedience and integrity, even when no one is watching. Fourth, trust that God is at work, even when you cannot see the outcome. And fifth, maintain a heart of faith, believing that the journey is producing what the breakthrough will reveal. Worship through the journey. Do not wait for the blessing to arrive to lift your hands. Do not wait for the storm to pass to sing your song. Do not wait for clarity to praise God. Worship now. Worship through the pain. Worship through the waiting. Worship through uncertainty. Because as you worship, God is moving. As you praise, He is preparing. As you trust, He is aligning. And when the breakthrough comes, it will be far greater than you imagine. Your worship in the journey is not in vain. It shifts atmospheres, strengthens your faith, prepares your heart, and positions you for divine favor. Keep praising, keep trusting, and keep walking in faith. God is faithful, and your breakthrough is coming. Beloved, today I want to speak directly to your heart. I want to speak to those of you who have been walking through challenges, feeling stuck, or questioning whether things will ever change. I want to declare to you today your life will be transformed. Yes, not someday, not maybe, not if everything goes perfectly, but your life is positioned for transformation, and God is at work behind the scenes to bring it to pass. Transformation is more than a temporary change. It is more than improvement or correction. Transformation is a complete renewal. It is a divine rearrangement of your circumstances, your mind, your spirit, and your destiny. Transformation is God taking the raw materials of your life, your experiences, your struggles, your victories, even your failures, and turning them into a masterpiece of His glory. Many people want transformation, but they want it to happen instantly, without process, without preparation, without patience. But let me tell you today, God's transformation is purposeful. It is intentional. Often requires a season of preparation, a period of waiting, and a willingness to surrender your own control. God will not transform what you are not willing to submit to Him. He will not elevate what you are not ready to steward. Transformation requires faith, obedience, perseverance. Consider Joseph, betrayed by his brothers, sold into slavery, falsely accused, and imprisoned. His life seemed like a series of setbacks. Yet, every step of the journey was a preparation for transformation. When the time came, Joseph's life was transformed completely. He went from prison to palace, from rejection to restoration, from despair to purpose. The transformation was not accidental. It was divine, and it was orchestrated by God's hand. Your life will be transformed because God is faithful. He sees the potential within you, the seed He planted in your spirit, and the plan He wrote before you were born. No matter how long the process takes, no matter how many obstacles arise, God is working to bring you into a new season. Transformation is not dependent on circumstances. It is dependent on God's power and His timing. Transformation also begins with the mind. Before your life changes externally, it must change internally. Your thoughts, your beliefs, and your perspective must align with God's truth. You must believe that you are capable of change, worthy of blessings, and positioned for greatness. You embrace this mindset, transformation begins to take root. The way you think shapes the way you live, and the way you live positions you for the supernatural work of God. Think about the disciples. They were ordinary men with ordinary lives, and yet their transformation was extraordinary. They walked with Jesus, learned from Him, and witnessed His power. When the Spirit of God came upon them, their lives were transformed. They went from fear to boldness, from confusion to clarity, from doubt to faith. The transformation was not gradual. It was both internal and external, immediate in some ways, yet also cultivated through training and obedience. Your transformation may be gradual in some areas, immediate in others, but it is inevitable if you remain aligned with God. Transformation requires faith. Faith that God is able, faith that He is willing, faith that His promises will come to pass. Too often, people give up just before the transformation is complete. They become discouraged, impatient, or distracted, but God is calling you today to trust Him fully. Your breakthrough, your elevation, and your renewal are closer than you think. The transformation you have been waiting for is imminent. Your life will be transformed because transformation involves purpose. God is not changing your circumstances randomly. He is not moving pieces around without reason. Every trial, every season, every experience you have encountered has been part of His plan to mold you, prepare you, and elevate you. Transformation aligns you with your calling, equips you for your destiny, and positions you for influence beyond your imagination. Sometimes transformation comes through the people God places in your life, mentors, friends, leaders, and even those who challenge. You can be instruments of change. Joseph's transformation involved Pharaoh, the cupbearer, and others around him. Esther's transformation involved her position in the palace and the people she influenced. Your transformation may involve relationships, guidance, and divine appointments you cannot yet see, but trust that God is orchestrating every encounter. Transformation also comes through trials. Do not despise the process. Do not resent the challenges. Do not wish them away. Every difficulty is a catalyst for change. Every setback is an opportunity for growth. Every disappointment is a chance to learn resilience, patience, and faith. Transformation is often forged in the fire of adversity, and when you emerge, you will be stronger, wiser, and ready to embrace the fullness of God's plan. Your life will be transformed because God's power is greater than any circumstance you face. No obstacle is too big. No enemy is too strong. No limitation is too great. When God moves, mountains shift, chains break, and lives are renewed. Your transformation is not a matter of luck or coincidence. It is a matter of God's will, His timing, and your willingness to align with Him. Transformation involves surrender. You must release control and allow God to work. You must trust that His plan is greater than yours, His vision clearer than your own, and His timing perfect. Too often we resist transformation because it requires letting go of old patterns, habits, or beliefs. True transformation requires obedience, humility, and faith. When you surrender fully, God will take what was ordinary and turn it into extraordinary. Your life will be transformed, your mind will be renewed, your heart will be restored, your circumstances will shift, your relationships will align, your opportunities will expand, your purpose will be revealed, And when the transformation is complete, you will not only experience personal breakthrough, you will inspire, lead, and impact countless others. Transformation is not about what you see. It is about what God is doing. It is not about timing. It is about God's perfect plan. It is not about your ability. It is about His power working through you. Trust Him, believe Him, follow Him, align with Him. Watch as your life is transformed completely, radically, and gloriously. So stand in faith today. Expect the change. Receive the renewal. Believe in the impossible. And declare boldly, my life will be transformed. My destiny is being fulfilled. God's glory will shine through every area of my life.